In the heart of West Africa, two kingdoms stood side by side like brothers. Kanem, the land of warriors, and Bornu, the kingdom of scholars and gold. But here's what nobody tells you about peace. It only takes one moment to destroy centuries of friendship. During the Festival of Unity, Princess Amara of Bornu locked eyes with someone she was never supposed to see. His name was Prince Adeyemi of Kanem. And in that single moment, under the moonlight, with drums echoing through the night, everything changed. Now, you might think this is just another love story, but wait. Because Amara was already promised to someone else. Someone powerful. Someone dangerous. Lord Okafor, the warlord of the northern province. A man who had never lost a battle, never been told no, and who believed Amara belonged to him like a prize he'd already won. Here's where everything spiraled out of control. For 3 months, Amara and Adeyemi met in secret. Every stolen moment. Every whispered promise. Every touch was an act of treason against tradition, against duty, against everything their kingdom stood for. Adeyemi would sneak past guards, risk his life climbing palace walls, all to see her smile. Amara would lie to her handmaidens, betray her father's trust, just to feel his hand in hers. But love this dangerous never stays hidden for long. One of Lord Okafor's spies saw them. And when Okafor learned that his future bride was kissing another man, a prince from their rival kingdom no less, something inside him snapped. He didn't just want revenge. He wanted blood. He wanted war. And he knew exactly how to get it. And this is where the lie that destroyed everything was born. What Okafor did next was pure evil genius. Okafor went to Amara's father and told him that Prince Adeyemi had assaulted his daughter. That the Prince of Kanem had dishonored the Princess of Bornu and left her shamed. But here's the twisted part. He brought witnesses. Paid liars who swore they saw Adeyemi force himself on Amara in the gardens. Amara tried to speak. She screamed the truth. She begged her father to listen. But in a kingdom where a woman's honor meant everything, her father couldn't hear past his rage. The king of Bornu demanded justice. The king of Kanem refused to punish his innocent son. And just like that, two kingdoms that had been brothers for generations became enemies overnight. And then came the moment that sealed everyone's fate. Okafor whispered in the king's ear. If they will not give us justice, we will take it in blood. Within 7 days, the first battle began. 10,000 warriors from Bornu. 8,000 from Kanem. Fathers fighting sons. Brothers fighting brothers. All because of one man's jealousy and one lie. Adeyemi fought on the front lines, desperate to end the madness. He sent letters to Amara. Love letters stained with battlefield blood, begging her to run away with him, to leave everything behind. But Amara never received those letters. Because Okafor intercepted every single one. For 3 years, the war raged. Villages burned. Children starved. Mothers buried sons. And all the while, Amara was locked in her palace, a prisoner in her own home, believing Adeyemi had abandoned her. Then came the day that changed everything. A lawyer handmaiden discovered Okafor's deception. She found the burned letters. She learned the truth. And she risked her life to tell Amara everything. Amara realized that thousands had died because of one man's lie. And in that moment, she made a choice that would define her legacy forever. What Amara did next was legendary. Against every rule, against every tradition, Princess Amara dressed in armor, mounted a horse, and rode into the battlefield herself. She rode between the armies, alone, unarmed, with nothing but the truth on her lips and fire in her heart. And she told them everything. The lie. The conspiracy. Okafor's jealousy. The burned letters. Every terrible truth that had been buried beneath years of blood. At first, no one believed her. But then Adeyemi stepped forward from the Kanem army. He walked across the battlefield, through the silence, until he stood face to face with the woman he'd never stopped loving. He pulled out a single letter. The one letter he'd kept close to his heart through every battle. And he read it aloud for both kingdoms to hear. Words of love. Words of truth. Words that proved everything Amara had said. And that's when Lord Okafor made his final mistake. He tried to run. But Amara's father, consumed by guilt and rage, ordered his capture. The man who started a war with a lie would face justice at last. But here's the part that will break your heart. The war ended. The kingdoms made peace. Okafor was exiled to die alone in the desert. But the damage was done. 15,000 warriors had died. Countless villages destroyed. Generations of families torn apart. All because one man couldn't accept that love isn't something you can own. Amara and Adeyemi finally got their love story. They married in a ceremony that united both kingdoms. But they spent the rest of their lives rebuilding what hate had destroyed. They named their first daughter Salama, which means peace. And they taught her, and everyone who would listen, that love without wisdom is dangerous, that lies can kill thousands, and that redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about honoring it by building a better future. Today, in that region of West Africa, there's still a festival held every year called the Festival of Truth, where people gather to remember the war that should never have happened, and the forbidden love that somehow, against all odds, brought peace.